Yokoso minasan, I'm Leo, I'm the professional weeb, and today I am back with another reaction for Attack on Titan, this time episode 51. I am incredibly excited for this episode because judging by the preview from the last episode, we're going to have a lot of action, and based on all the setup that has been done in the past episodes, some really cool reveals are going to happen in this episode, judging by what I know from the manga. And yeah, I can't wait to see this fight. It's probably going to be mainly focused on Eren versus Reiner in this episode, and I can't wait to see that fight. But yeah, before I go into this episode, I must apologize to you guys because I haven't been uploading too much on this channel. Actually, the last video I uploaded was the previous reaction to Attack on Titan, so there's a lot of stuff going on in real life. I have a lot of exams in these next few weeks, so uploads may be not that common, but I'll do my best to upload my reaction to at least Attack on Titan, and I'm trying to do some other stuff, but at least Attack on Titan should be every week. You should be regularly on this channel. So yeah, if you want to see my reaction, please consider subscribing, and hopefully I don't disappoint you, and hopefully I'm not very late with my reactions. I'm trying to keep my Attack on Titan uploads like one day at most after the episode gets released, so you don't have to wait that much. But that being said, guys, let's jump into this episode. I can't wait to see the fight. I can't wait to see Reiner again. He almost died in the previous episode, but yeah, he managed to transform into a Titan, so he's safe this time. But yeah, I can't wait to see this fight. So without further ado, let's start the episode in 3, 2, 1, let's jam! Awesome. So we're starting off with the opening. I've uploaded my my reaction to the opening the first time I saw it on my channel. So I think a lot of you guys have seen that. But since then I had the chance to watch the opening a few more times, and yeah, my overall thoughts on the opening is that it's a very solid opening. It's something that at this point we should expect from Attack on Titan, because all of Attack on Titan openings have been really great. It feels like this song, the Linked Horizon, did a really good job with bringing all of the previous songs into one. It really does sound a lot like if you combine all the previous Attack on Titan openings, so that's really cool in terms of the music. But other than that, I definitely don't like the CGI that's been used in this opening. Oh, and I saw some scenes that I think they didn't show in the previous opening, so perhaps they're going to change it every episode. But yeah, overall I'm a big fan of the song, but I feel that it lacks a bit of oomph, if you know what I mean. Like towards the ending, it's really strong at the beginning, but then it kind of drops down in the strength of the song. But overall, I'm a big fan of the opening. And yeah, the title is Thunder Spears. I can't wait to see how they animate that scene, because it's one of my favorite panels in the manga when they use the Thunder Spears for the first time. So I have high hopes for this episode. Okay, so humans and Titans are basically staring at each other. Oh, so they chose to do it this way, the armor ability. Exactly. You don't even know what they prepared for you. So that Titan finally gets introduced. Is going to become at some point one of the best characters in the story, but But yeah, it's really interesting. How could the Titan carry luggage? Titans shouldn't be able to do. They should be pretty much stupid, like like those guys. But I'm glad that they kept the the hilarious running of the Titans. They've always had this element of comedy to their movements, and yeah, I'm glad that they kept that Titan. It's so weird how the Titans are at the same time really creepy, but really funny as well. They got the mix perfectly between creepiness and comedy. Erwin is pretty much smart, pretty much recognizes what the enemy plan is. Also, this pretty much confirms that they can control the normal Titans. At least the Beast Titan seems to be able to create Titans and control them for some reason. We are pretty much trapped in here. Yes. Oh, I can't wait to see that scene. Hopefully we get it in this episode. I think we should. Give your hearts! Come on, guys! You can do it. Yes. Levi versus Beast Titan greatness coming. It's really cool how calm they can stay in this kind of situation. Obviously, they have a lot of experience and they've seen many things. But it's nice that they can form calm strategies and yeah, if they were to panic, it would have been terrible. We've seen that in the first season when everybody was panicking. And damn, the way he has his the sword still inside his neck. Exactly. I like that these characters have bonded with each other and understand each other to a certain degree. So obviously Reiner's being able to figure out that Armin was the one who found him out, and it's nice to see the mutual respect between the characters, even though they're fighting, even though they're enemies. There is this respect that's obviously going between them. And there we go, Eren transformed. This is going to be so good. It's nice to see that both parties have kind of a plan of action, and nobody expects the other's plan. it's cool that they give us the maps as well, so it's easy to understand the strategy that's going on in here. Exactly, he was able to control Titans in the last season, or the last part of the season. Why would he? It's nice how they're just staring at each other. They're in close range, but they're not initiating the fight. Obviously, he can't let Eren run away, so Erwin was safe all this time. It's nice to see everybody's take on this plan, because yeah, so yeah, pincer could work, but it's really nice to see how Erwin, Armin, and Hanji are all thinking about the plan, because they are obviously built up to be like the smartest characters, and it's really nice to see how each of them understands, and each of their takes on this plan. But as you can see, the respect comes from Eren as well. He expects that Reiner will come after him, because they know each other so well. They've been together for years basically by now. But it's nice that Armin considers the fact that Bertolt hasn't shown himself yet, and he has like the strongest Titan. If you think about it, if he shows up, he pretty much destroys like an entire area. Damn, this looks so cool. It's nice to see that Eren has mastered the hardening technique, so they both can do that now. Obviously, the armor Titan has, well, more armor, so he's tougher to get at. But now Eren can actually inflict damage to him with the hardening. As you can see, he can break the armor. Damn, that's so cool. I think we saw that in the opening, but that looks so amazing. And here's down. It all had to come back to this place. Everything started here, and Eren's planning to end everything here, so that's a cool narrative for the story. We've come full circle basically. Well, not really full circle, but it's nice that we've returned to the place where we've begun the story. It's nice that we actually have finally a chance to take it from the Titans. This was something that humanity hasn't taught for hundreds of years basically, but now with Eren's ability to transform in a Titan, and the scouts being really smart about their approach and understanding the Titans more than they ever did before, they actually have a chance at taking back the land. So that's really cool. Obviously they lost a lot of members, so exactly. Those sacrifices needed to be made for humanity to progress. Oh. Damn. That's an interesting take on his goal. But yeah, at the bottom it was just his selfish goal. He made everybody he fooled everybody to follow his ambition in order to reach his goal. But you know, he really did help humanity, even though it may have been selfish and maybe a lot of people died for it. You know, he has a noble goal at the end of the day. He wants to learn more about the world. So you can't really blame Erwin. And he's so close to finding the truth now. You really want to root for him to succeed. Oh, that looks awesome. All the particles. Eesh, that must have hurt. Obviously, Reiner had some practice fighting the Beast Titan. Even though he lost, we saw that at the end of the previous season. He obviously is not someone that's easy to beat. Plus, we still don't know his goals at this point in the story. So, we don't really know exactly why he's fighting for the enemy or what's his purpose in all of this. But here it comes, guys. Here it comes. And they made one, pretty much. But yeah, we saw that with Mikasa in the previous season. She couldn't really do anything. She was just watching. Yeah, she was pretty much useless in this fight. She didn't have a way to combat the Armor Titan. This scene was such an amazing one as well. Exactly. Only Eren in this situation can fight Reiner, but if he can defeat Reiner, then what will they do, right? So they must come with some kind of weapon or strategy to hurt the Armor Titan. You can't leave all to Eren. You can't make him do pretty much everything. This is so cool though. I can't wait to see them using the thunder spears. There's some MMA fight going on in here. It's cool how Eren and Reiner are so similar though. They are so different at the same time. They are equals in fight, right? And a lot of parallels have been drawn throughout the series between the two of them. Oh, so what's that? What is that? He doesn't even know what's going to hit him. It did pierce. And here we go. Goodbye, eyes. You're pretty much blinded. Yeah, you can't use them at very close range. It's so nice that they came up with a strategy to beat the Armored Titan and to overcome his defenses, and it works. It works. Well, it kind of does. It's their friend inside, you know. It's kind of hard for them to kill him. But yeah, this is war. At this point, they're enemies. They're not longer working together. Even though they may not like him, may not like it, they have to pretty much do everything they can to defeat him, even if it comes down to killing him, basically. It's nice to see that he's afraid. Like, he's genuinely afraid of dying. And that's how it ends. Damn, that episode felt so short. I thought I thought it was maybe around the half point. The time passed so fast watching the show. And yeah, the Thunder Spears worked. Reiner pretty much feels defeated. But yeah, that was it for my reaction for the episode. I'll come back and talk more about, give you a quick review of what I thought this episode was about. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. Okay people, so the fight between humans and titans has finally started this episode, and it wasn't as action-packed as I personally was expected. It was a lot more strategy talk and a lot more talking and strategizing than action, I would say. It was more of a setup for what is to come in this fight, but we did get some cool punches from Eren, some hits with the Thunder Spears towards the end of the episode on Reiner, and that was really awesome. Obviously, there's a lot of things they haven't revealed yet. Thunder Spears were revealed just in this episode in the anime, so it does make sense that they explain how everything works. as a manga reader, I kind of forgot that there was actually so much talk in this episode, but it does make sense. So I made a list with some pointers that I want to discuss and maybe review a little bit about this episode. It at first it started with a lot of, not a lot of, but plenty of strategy talk, which from my point of view, it's great. It's one of the things that I really appreciate about Attack on Titan is that we have characters like Erwin, Armin, and Hanji who are very smart and obviously put a lot of thoughts and time into strategizing and coming up with a plan that is more likely to succeed than just going in blindly. And it's nice that they have the respect now of all the other people, and everybody trusts them to come up with a solid strategy and a winning strategy. I like that Erwin realized that in a war between humans and Titans, Titans don't need to directly attack the humans. They don't need to constantly attack them in order to kill them. If Titans were smart, what they would do is transform the fight in a war of attrition, right? Because as a human, you can't really fight for too much. You can't really be active. You need to eat, right? You need to sleep. You need a lot of things that humans need to do. Titans don't really have to. We know that Titans pretty much use the solar energy and whatnot. And when the Beast Titan is around, they can even move at night. So, making this fight a war of attrition makes a lot of sense from the perspective of Titans, because they don't really need to kill everybody. They don't need to expose themselves to the risk of a counterattack if they just slowly put pressure and buy enough time until pretty much everybody is tired or everybody is hungry, right? And I realized that this may be one of the goals of the Titans. So he realized that they absolutely need to protect their horses, because if let's say the Titans kill their horses or get them, that's literally their only one way out. Otherwise they're pretty much trapped. They can't really outrun the Titans if they don't have the horses. So if the Titans cut off their escape route, they're pretty much dead. Like, they only have a few hours of full energy fighting before they pretty much tire themselves, and yeah, Titans win at that point. So obviously protecting the only one escape route is the goal. Not really the goal, because the goal is to win, right? To defeat them. But in case they can't come through with the plan, in case they can't fulfill their mission of defeating the Titans, at least with the horses they have one possible escape route. At least save some of the people that have come to here. And it's nice to see a lot in the earlier parts of the episode. A lot of the story is seen through Erwin's eyes. We got a piece of his mind when he said his motives were selfish, and he pretty much made everybody follow his lead. But in truth, I think everybody followed him not because he's a good leader, or not because he's someone of a higher rank. He is followed by everybody because everybody respects him. Everybody somewhat shares Erwin's goal. So yeah, I don't think he's selfish. I don't think he did all of this for himself. I think everybody pretty much agrees with him, and everybody wants humanity to win. Everybody wants their freedom. That's the symbolism sorry. So that's the symbolism for the wings on their mark. So yeah, in a way I can see where Erwin is coming from, but I actually think that everybody supports him because they believe in his ideas, not because he's a high-ranking figure or something like that. So, and the respect is a big theme in this episode. We see it with Reiner when he realized that Armin was the one who figured out where he was hiding, because he knew Armin so well, and because they pretty much spent the last few years together. They have this bond, and they know what their strengths and weaknesses are. Both of them understand each other to a high level. So yeah, it was when Reiner realized that Armin that Armin was the one who found out, it made sense from a narrative, from a writing standpoint, right? Because Armin has been built to be that kind of character, and Reiner has been with him all this time. Reiner knows that he's a smart character, and Reiner respects him as a smart character. In the past, he even followed some of Armin's suggestions, right? So, you know, it's really nice to see this bond between characters and their mutual respect, even though they're enemies. And later in the episode, we see that Eren trusted that Reiner will go after him instead of continuing with his plan of attacking the horses, because he knows that Reiner is smart enough to realize that they can't let Eren just run away and come from behind, because that would make the situation even worse for them. So Eren realized that Reiner will change his plan on the fly to come after him, because that's the most logical decision, and he holds Reiner to that kind of high standard. So obviously that's really nice to see how much those characters have grown, and their relationship, even though they're enemies in this arc of the story, you can see that they understand each other to a way higher level than you'd expect from people who are just at war. For instance, Erwin doesn't, and the humanity at this point don't really understand the Beast Titan, because he was just introduced in the story recently. He hasn't been a character for most of the time, he's a newer character. They have no idea what's the deal with him, and you can see that because Erwin doesn't understand the Beast Titan at all, he puts his most loyal and his strongest soldier gives him the task to go and fight him. Levi basically has been given the task to deal with the Beast Titan, because he couldn't really trust anybody else with this kind of task when the enemy is completely unknown, when you can't predict him, when you don't know his weaknesses, his strengths. You have to put your most trustworthy soldier to go against him. And again, the respect between Levi and Erwin at the scene is really nice to see, and their bond as well. The trust that everybody has in each other is something that really comes to fruition in this arc and has been built in the previous arcs. All of them kind of have been built towards this point, so that was fantastic. I must talk a bit about the Eren versus Reiner fight. We got some solid punches from Eren, and after that they did some MMA style fight on the ground, like grappling and whatnot. If I were to talk about animation and art style and stuff like that, they didn't spend that much work in animating this fight, because as a manga reader I can kind of understand why they did it, because there is so much more to come after this point. Like, if you guys are anime only, you don't even know exactly how much more there is to this fight. This is only the beginning. It's nowhere near the ending of the fight. Even though Reiner obviously has been hurt by the thunder spears in the last part of the episode, there's a chance that he may even be dead, but considering his luck so far, considering the fact that he pretty much survived a sword through the neck, you can't really say that he died. Like, you can suspect that there is a chance definitely that he's dead, but it doesn't make sense for him to die at this point in the story. He definitely has more character growth to be done, so it would be weird if he died at this point, but he definitely is hurt, and you can even see him panicking towards the end of the episode when the thunder spears dealt their final blow. Pretty much he definitely was afraid, and for a moment he thought that he may be dead. So yeah. Other than that, there were a lot of not still frames in Eren vs Reiner, but not very fluid, not very fast animation. Obviously they're Titans, so they have to be a bit slower to give us this sense of their weight and their size and whatnot. But yeah, the fighting scenes were not the highlight of this episode. The monologues of Reiner and all the other characters, Erwin, definitely took the spotlight from it. So in this episode we got introduced to the latest weapons of the Survey Corps, the Thunder Spears, and it's a genius idea if you think about it. They are basically small missiles that you can shoot from your from your arm, and what they do, they can have the ability to penetrate the armor, the tough skin of the armor titan, and once they do, they can like pull the string out of them and they just explode. So after they get inside the armor past his defenses, then they explode to inflict damage. And that's such an interesting and such a good weapon against the armor titan. It obviously, Thunder Spears won't be that useful against normal titans, where with blades you can just kill them in one shot pretty much. Thunder Spears are have a higher danger to them because, as Hanji explained, you can't really be close to your target, and you also need all of these buildings or tall structures around your target in order to be able to maneuver and escape from the blast. So Thunder Spears won't be really useful in an open field, but because Eren was able to make Reiner come inside the town, Reiner didn't see the Thunder Spears coming. He wasn't expecting that there could be a weapon who would hurt his Titan form. So yeah, that's it's really cool to see that the Survey Corps finally have a way to deal with him, because in the last time they fought, as I said during the episode, they pretty much had to watch Eren fight him. And in this case, if for some reason Eren failed to defeat Reiner, if they didn't have the Thunder Spears, they were pretty much doomed, you know. They didn't have any other way to combat his armor, so it's nice that they finally do now. There's one more thing that I must talk with you guys, and obviously as a manga reader I know why that's the case, but I'm wondering what you guys, if you are anime onlys, I would like to actually for you to answer this question in the comment section before the next episode. But the question is, where is Berthold, right? Where is he? Because he obviously wasn't with Reiner when he came out, or at least we didn't see him in the wall. We didn't see him next to the Beast Titan. We didn't see him next to the other Titans. Obviously he didn't transform yet, because if he did transform, it would be incredibly hard to miss him. But where is he? What's his plan? Because if you know about the Colossal Titan, the Colossal Titan is very massive and is the strongest Titan of all of the ones introduced so far. But his problem is mobility, right? And he also consumes energy much faster than the normal sized Titans. So obviously he has a lot of destructive power, but he can only use his Titan for a very short amount of time. And also he can't really move too much, at least compared to someone like Reiner or Eren. They are very agile and they can fight for extended periods of time, but Berthold can't do that, and he moves really slowly despite the fact that he's the biggest and he's the strongest. Mobility definitely isn't his strong point, so if he was with the Beast Titan or something like that, if he were to transform over there, it wouldn't really make sense to do that, right? Because obviously when he transforms, pretty much an entire area around him gets destroyed, or you know, he has that heat coming out of his skin and whatnot, so he can hurt, he can do damage to a big area. So obviously you want to keep him far from the other Titans. If you are the Beast Titans, if you are Reiner, you don't want Berthold transforming right next to you. It doesn't really make sense, because yeah, he's pretty much a giant bomb when when he transforms. So I'm wondering, where do you guys think he has been? And what do you think is the strategy when it comes to Berthold? Obviously we saw him in if you saw the preview for the next episode, there you saw him in that preview, so obviously he's going to come out in the next episode. But I'm wondering if you anime only have a theory or have some thoughts, or what would Berthold's plan or his mission be for this fight? Where do you think he is, and what do you think he will do in the next episode? Because yeah, that's also one of the best scenes from this fight, what Berthold does. So I'm definitely looking forward to that in the next episode. But that's pretty much it for this episode. I think I've analyzed most of the things that have been going. I think the anime did a great job at adapting the manga. It definitely was a lot slower than the previous episode, which makes sense. A lot of information was introduced and the pacing was very good for this episode, I think, and definitely builds up to what is to come in the next episode. So I'm looking forward to that. But if you guys want to see my reactions, if you want to see the video inside the reaction, and if you want to support me as a creator, you can go on to my Patreon over there, and yeah, there are a bunch of perks that you can choose. You have access to pretty much all my videos. You can come talk with me on Discord, and you know, a bunch of other perks that you can get by supporting me on Patreon. And you also help me with making videos, right? And taking more time off my schedule to do those videos, because yeah, it definitely makes a lot of more sense for me to do so if I have that kind of incentive. So if you guys can't, it's obviously Patreon is pretty much optional. You don't have to do this. My videos will be free on YouTube, but there are some cool perks that come with Patreon. But I appreciate all of you guys who have reached this point of the video, all of you who've watched the entire episode reaction and my review of the episode. I really do appreciate you guys. So if you could hit the like button if you made it so far, and you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, that would be also very much appreciated. But that's about it for me, guys. I've been Leo, the professional weeb, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Sayonara.